Hey, this video is going to talk about how to solve simple cubic and cube root equations. Remember, when solving any equation, we are trying to isolate the x variable and trying to see what value of x will make this equation a true statement. So in other words, if I were to plug in whatever the value is here, I would get 64 on this side equals to 64. Okay. Really quick side note, remember that the inverse of x cubed, which is our cubic, okay, the inverse of this one is the cube root of x, because these two kind of cancel each other out, okay? And that's with the cube root there. So let's go ahead and try this one. We have x plus 5 cubed is equal to 64, and I'm going to go ahead and solve this. Well, this one, the first thing I want to look at, I want to see if there's anything in the front, so anything here, anything below. There's not, so we can go ahead and start getting rid of that cube root, just like we do with a regular equation. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and cube root this side and this side, and I did choose this number on purpose. That's going to get rid of this over here, so I'm left with x plus 5, what's on the inside, is equal to, and now the cube root of 64 is just 4. And that is because 64 is the same as 4 times 4 times 4. Okay. Typically, the problems I'm going to give you with cubics are going to have some kind of perfect square. If they don't, it'll be a decimal, but we'll get to that when we get to it. From here it becomes simple. Subtract 5 on both sides. So x is just equal to 4 minus 5 is negative 1. And that is it for that one. Okay. I would like you to check it really quickly. We don't like to check, but it just come into good practice so we can see exactly what it is we're doing. Remember, we're trying to find a number, a value that goes into the equation that makes it true. So for the check, okay, I have x plus 5 cubed is equal to 64. I'm going to take this value, negative 1, and I'm going to plug it into wherever I have an x. So in this case, just right here. So negative 1 plus 5 cubed is equal to 64. Well, negative 1 plus 5 is just 4. 4 cubed is equal to 64. That's the same as 4 times 4 times 4, which if you're good at your arithmetic, you should know is a true, but we can go ahead and do it real quick. 4 times 4 is 16 times 4. 16 times 4, remember that old-fashioned math a long time ago? 4 times 6 is 24. 4 times 1 is 4 plus 2 is 6. So this is indeed 64. So that means that my value is correct. This is the correct answer. Okay? Go ahead and do the next one, number 2. This one is also a cubic equation. So we're going to go ahead and try to isolate the x variable. To do that in this one, we do have some extra steps. Notice we have this 3 and we have the minus. So we have to get rid of those first. So if you need to make a note to yourself, you need to isolate the, I guess I can put cube first. Okay. And the same goes for cube root. So let's go ahead and do that. So I'm going to do minus 3 because this is positive 3, minus 3. And that's going to leave me with negative x plus 1 cubed is equal to 512. Okay, notice that this negative right here, this negative is still there. Do not just, or delete it all of a sudden. We have to get rid of it. So to get rid of it, remember this is an imaginary 1, we can divide both sides by negative 1, and that will leave us with x plus 1 cubed is equal to negative 512. Okay. Now, some of you might kind of be like, oh, we can't do anything because it's negative. Well, the good thing about cubics, this 3, is that when we take the cube root, we can have a negative number because when we have three negatives, negative, well, these will come out to a positive, and then these two will come out to a negative. So this is possible. Remember, the cube root means that there's going to be three numbers that give us that number. So anyway, I don't need that, so let me erase it. So from here, it becomes just like the first problem, and we're going to take the cube root now. So let's go ahead and do that. We have the cube root of this side and the cube root of this side. That goes away. This is just x plus 1 is equal to, and we have the cube root of negative 512. So this one's kind of a hard one to do in your head. I'm going to go ahead and give it to you in class. I will let you use the calculator just for this part. You would just do 512 negative and then the cube root. Okay, so the cube root of this number is actually going to be a negative 8. If I remember correctly, let me double check. Let's see, negative 8 times negative 8 times negative 8. This is 64. Okay, and when I multiply this one, 64 times negative 8, let's just like that. Negative 8 times 4 is going to give me 32. Ignore the negative, we don't need that yet. 8 times 6 is 48, plus 3 is 512. And since we have a positive and a negative, yes, it is 512. So there is my answer. And just how you saw me kind of doodle on the side, that's another way to solve these. Just kind of pick a number, square it, and see if it comes out with the same one. Okay? Math is all about trial and error. So anyway, this one is negative 8 because to get that negative again, we need to have three negatives. So let me continue. So from here, it's just like the other problem before. Subtract 1 both sides. So x is equal to negative 8 minus 1 is negative 9. Okay? And if I wanted you to check this, so if I wanted you to check this, you would do 3, remember the original, minus parentheses, negative 9, because that is the number that we got, plus 1 cubed, and we want to see if that was equal to 515. So this would be negative 9 plus 1 is negative 8 cubed. Bring all this down. And it's just order of operations right here. So I would do the this part first, parentheses and the exponent first. Well, we already know that negative 8 times negative 8 times negative 8, and I can write it out so you can see. This whole piece right here is going to give me negative 512. We bring down the 3, bring down the minus. Notice I'm going in order of operations here. Now that I have this by itself with no exponent, now I can change this to a positive. So 3 plus 512 is indeed 515. And one of the reasons I really like you guys to do the check is because it does help with the arithmetic, and that's something we're not too strong in. So it is good practice. Okay, so this is correct. That means that when I plug in negative 9 here, the statement is a true statement. Okay, let's go ahead and look at the next one. I'm going to go a little quicker. So this one is a cubic. So instead of doing the cube root, I'm sorry, this is a cube root. Instead of doing the cube root to cancel, we're going to cube it to cancel. Because remember that the opposite of a cube root, the opposite of this one is this one. Okay, so that's going to get rid of that for me, and I'm left with 2x plus 3 is equal to 3 times 3 times 3. Remember that this right here means that there's 3 of them. Okay, so now I'm going to have 3 times 3 is 9. I can bring that 3 down right here. And then 9 times 3 is 27. And as we do these, you kind of start learning your cubics. So I'll bring this part down over here. And this is a simple linear equation. So from here, I can just subtract 3 from both sides. So 2x is equal to 27 minus 3 is 24. Divide both sides by 2. And so x is just equal to 12. Okay, let's do a quick check. I'm going to go pretty quick now. So I have the cube root of 2 times 12, because that's my x value, plus 3 is equal to 3. So let's see, 2 times 12, that's 24. 24 plus 3 is 27. And I know that 3 times 3 times 3 is the same as 27. This is the same. So therefore, if I had to take one of these out, it would be a 3. The cube root of 27 is 3. So this is a true statement, which means that x equals 12 is the correct x value in here to make it true. Okay, last one. This one we need to isolate first. So let's go ahead and do that. So again, remember, I'm just going to put that little star. That means isolate. Isolate. So let's go ahead and do that first. Minus 10 to both sides leaves me with negative cube root of 2x plus 4 is equal to 22 minus 10 is 12. And just like the previous one, we need to get rid of that negative. So let's divide both sides by -1. -1 right there. That'll get rid of it here. And I am left with the cube root. Try it a little bit neater. I'm going a little bit messy here. 2x plus 4 is equal to -12. Okay, so from this step, it's kind of like the previous one, number 3. So I'm just going to cube both sides, cube and cube, and that'll get rid of this for me here. And now this one that requires a little bit of work. This is -12 times -12 times -12. Okay. Well, I know that these two together are going to give me 144. So this is the one I have to multiply. 12 times 144. And I know the answer is going to be negative because we have a positive and a negative. So that's going to give us a negative answer. Okay. So doing this, and I'm not going to do it on the side because I kind of want to wrap up the video soon. Okay, so doing this right here gives me negative 17/28. And don't think I'm a genius or anything. I already calculated this before. So negative 17/28, bring down that 2x plus 4. Okay, and again, it's a simple linear equation here. Big numbers, but same steps as usual. We get rid of the 4, so -4 minus 4. Okay, and we're left with 2x plus, oh, I'm sorry, just 2x equals negative 17/28 minus 4 is going to give us negative 17/32. Remember that we have two negatives, and we're just kind of adding them. We are subtracting them. We add them and keep the sign. Okay. So last step, divide by 2, both sides. So x is equal to, let's see, negative 8/66. Let me double check that real quick. Yeah, that's right. Okay, so this is our answer, and that's pretty much it. Okay, if I asked you to check this one, and I won't do it here just because we've already done it 3 times. You would plug it back into the x, multiply it by 2, add 4, cube root, yada yada yada, just like we did this one. Okay. but I did check it previously and this one is also good. So that's it. So in summary, this is just solving cubic and cube root simple equations, and pretty much most of it is just isolating like we usually do, then doing the algebraic processes. So all this, the dividing by -1, subtracting a number, dividing, and getting to our answer. And we're doing this to find the number or the value of x that will make this statement true. Okay.